What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I am Matt Freites, and today I want to take a raw look at 2025, but also look to the future of 2026. It's been a minute since I've recorded in this background. At the end of the year, I was watching Peter McKinnon's final video of 2025, and I have to give him credit for the style in which this video is being recorded. This is how I started the channel. I started at this table with this background and none of the equipment that's in front of me right now. But what I started with was that raw want to bring you sneaker content. I wanted to learn, I wanted to make mistakes, and I wanted to get better. As I was watching his video, I was listening to him sit in front of the camera in a very similar vibe to this, and sort of talking about the year that was 2025. More importantly, talking about the challenges, how things had reframed for him. Something I share in common with him is having lost a loved one, more specifically a parent, and it's not anything that I wish on anybody. We all will go through it at some point in our lives, but it reframes your mind, or it should reframe your mind in a way that is life-changing, life-altering. For him, that was the case. And as I'm sitting here, it is January 3rd of the new year, 2026, I think about 2025. And yes, many people will sit in front of this camera or in front of a camera or in front of a microphone, and they will tell you on December 31st all about their year, all about the new person that they want to be. It takes me a lot longer to sort of process what has happened to me. I feel as if things happen for a reason. And 2025, if I'm being perfectly honest and transparent, was one of the most challenging years of my life. On camera, I am one person. I'm Matt Freites to you, or Matty Ice, or whatever version you found me as, whether it's Fire Footwear or Sneaker Love or Matt Freites Creates. The person sitting here is a version of who I am. I'm always authentic, and I'm always going to give you my real self right here, but it's not always the entire picture of what goes on. I think many times when we find content creators, we assume that that's what they do full time because the algorithm usually gives us creators and channels that is their life's work. It's their main source of income. For a lot of people that you don't see, like myself, we are doing this on top of other responsibilities. We're doing this on top of being family men and being full-time workers and trying to be as present in another life outside of this as we can. And for me this year, my personal life that isn't shown or talked about on this camera or on this channel is something that was the most challenging. Obviously, the year that I lost my mom was challenging, but I wasn't doing this then. I wasn't even close to being on YouTube. This year was challenging because of one word, and that's uncertainty. I've had a career now for 20 years doing something other than this, and for the first time ever, that career felt very uncertain. It felt as if it might be in jeopardy. And what that meant for me was a potential loss of being able to take care of my family, not just for me, but for my wife as well. Both of us sort of facing the same situation. And that uncertainty led to a lot of strife within this household, between me and my wife, between me and other people, and internal strife, internal uncertainty, internal fear of the unknown, thinking about what was going to happen. And that uncertainty really clouded my mind and clouded my judgment for the better part of the first half of 2026. Lots of depression, lots of mental health struggles, wondering how I was going to get out of this, wondering what was going to happen. And I think the stability that I had earned, that I had created in my life, feeling unstable and uncertain, had led to a mental health place that I hadn't been really ever. Along the way, when I start thinking about 2025 and I think about the progression of the year, something happened. And it happened a lot earlier than that 6-month time frame that I told you about. What ended up happening early on was the boundaries that I had created, the wants that I'd had in life, the passions that I had dove into over the last few years became sort of a saving grace for me. I realized looking back that I dove into those passions in a way that kept me buoyant, kept me alive. And I think about all the different ways that I tried to keep those passions alive. I remember thinking very early on in 2025 that I'm not giving this up. That even if my life is changing in a way in which I have to find time to do this, I'm going to find time to do this because I've built this, I love this, it keeps me sustained. It keeps me sustained in a different way than being a husband, a different way than being a father. Those are all extremely important. But this keeps me sustained in a way in which it stimulates my brain. And it makes me happy being up here, being able to talk to people, relate to people, connect with people that all love the same thing that I do. And I realized that at the beginning of the year, in this very room, I changed so much about what I did. I not only sat here, I sat over there, I sat in front of a television, I sat in front of a desk, in front of monitors, and so many things changed, and I tinkered and toyed with so many things in this room, and all that did was keep the passion alive. It kept my creativity, my humanity at the forefront in a way that I don't think I realized at the time. I recorded in my car, I recorded in front of TVs, I recorded with LED light panels, I recorded with gaming lights. I tried everything. And along the way, all of that tinkering, all of that toying led me to this moment where I'm sitting here with so many different elements in this room physically that helped me put this product on. That creative boost that I gave myself at the beginning of the year led to a resurgence in the second half of the year. One element that I didn't talk about before was the uncertainty led me to be unable to perform the real goal that I have as a parent, which is to shield my son from all the ills that come with adult life. At his age, he's living his best life. He doesn't know it. Everything is taken care of for him, and we do that lovingly. We do that by choice because we love him and we want him to have everything that he can have in this life to a point. Being unable to take myself out of that uncertainty and stay present, it made me feel like I was failing as a father. But in the second half of the year, when I realized that all of those gains and the sweat equity that I had given myself through all of the tinkering and toying and recording and just pumping out content by any means necessary, that really gave me the strength to move on in the second half and not only shield him from what was going on, but make him a part of that growth, that ascension, and that happiness. I sort of reframed what happiness was to me as the year went along. And one thing that I noticed was that I wanted to learn a craft. I wanted to take what I do here and be better at it. And in that pursuit, you realize that sometimes we strive for perfection. I haven't always put out the most quality product if you compare me to other channels. Let's take Peter McKinnon, for example. He has 6 million followers. I have 1,600 followers. He has teams and people who do all of the work that I do on the side, all of the editing, all the ideation, the curation of everything. He has people who do that. Being able to be a part of the process in a way that you don't have to do the mundane work, the social media work and all of that, it makes creating a lot easier. And for me, being able to have this kind of growth, you want to sustain that growth and you kind of want to be perfect. And with every video, I wanted to give you the most perfectly curated and quality video possible because in my mind, that was the way that you were going to share it in the algorithm. One thing I came to realize is that while quality is important, the authenticity of something like this is even more important. And that's why we're sitting here this way, giving you something without motion graphics and without all of the cutaways. I'm just giving you my real raw self. But over the last half of the year, the last quarter of the year, I started to learn. I started to decide that I wanted to take my creativity to another level. And I bought a lot of gear that is going to allow me to continue to grow beyond 2025, beyond 2026, and hopefully doing this for as long as I can stand it. It's gear that sits here out of frame that you don't see. The elasticity of what it allows me to do, that makes me feel so much more passionate about something that I already felt like I couldn't be passionate enough about in the first place. And so while 2025 has come to a close, and while in many respects I'm happy that it's over, I recognize just how valuable all of that was. In life, I think many times if we had the choice of being able to not struggle, not go through pain, many people would take that. They would take that opportunity and run. But there is an undervalued element of pain, of struggle, of uncertainty, and that's growth. So often we go through rough patches in our life, and sometimes long stretches that are rough. And while we're in it, we can't recognize that it is doing something for us, or that it's an opportunity for us to do something for ourselves. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that tough times are necessary. We need to fall down. We need to fall flat on our face. We need to fail in order to realize how we can get better, how we can grow stronger, and how we can move on in the most positive and the most effective way. And that's what 2025 taught me, is that yes, there's a lot of things that are happening that I have no control over. Letting go of that need to control, letting go of that want and desire to feel like everything is curated and in a perfect place. It's never going to be that. And for me, I started to grow so much in the second half of the year. I didn't buy as many sneakers as I normally would. I paid attention to the market, but honestly, it became less about sneakers, more about creativity. And now that we're sitting here in 2026, we're physically manifesting all of that, and we're putting it into this channel. I want you to be a part of that journey. What does 2026 look like for me? Well, there's going to be sneaker content out here, of course. 2026 should be a good year. It won't be as good as 2025 in terms of sneakers, but there will be shoes on here. There's going to be reviews of shoes that I bought last year that I just never got to, because I want to tell different stories. If you go back to my video about the Bull Air Scarecrow, maybe that's a shoe that you are not interested at all. But I implore you to watch it, because that is the future of this channel. Those stories, that vibe, the feeling. We're not just making videos for YouTube. I want to make short films. I want to make videos that will stand the test of time, that tell a story and give you a topic that is so much larger than just any physical shoe in my hand. I want it to be about growth. I want it to be about passion. I want creativity, the hows, the whys to be a part of this channel. That's what 2026 is to me. To look at 2025, to look at what I went through and say, damn it, we're going to get better in 2026. And it's not just me that's going to get better. This content, everything about it, is hopefully by extension going to make you better by proxy. I want you along with me on this journey. I want you to help me decide how this channel goes, topics you want to hear, shoes you want to hear about sometimes, but other things you want to hear about. Life is full of so many elements. There's so many moving parts to humanity, and I want to feature and focus as many of that on this channel as possible. I want to show you how to create. I want to get into the hows, the technology, the whys, and at the end of the day, whether it's through sneakers, photography, videography, or whatever, I want you at the end of the day to continue to come back to this channel because you too want to grow in any way that is. I don't care if it's growing in sneakers, learning a thing or two. I don't care if you're a budding photographer, videographer, you want to learn something, or if you're just somebody who needs to know that there's another human being out there that gets them, gets what they're going through. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I want for this channel. Growth is important. Failure, pain, all of that is important. Elements of life are cyclical. It won't always be good. It won't always be bad, but it does always happen for a reason. 2025 was uncertain. 2025 was about getting to a place where I relinquished control, relinquished the need to know that everything was going to be okay, and stayed present and took every moment as it came. I wish you a happy new year this year. I thank you for everything that you did for me in 2025, and hopefully everything that you will do for me in 2026. And I promise you, like I always do, that all of that support will be rewarded with the best content, the most authentic content that I can possibly give you. I'll see you next time.